American roads are dominated by supersized vehicles, but at what cost? I'm Tisha Powell.
And I'm Lee Zurich. SUVs and pickup trucks are some of the most popular vehicles in this country. In January 2025, they accounted for more than 80% of new car sales.
While those larger vehicles typically provide better crash protection for the people inside them, there's a growing concern the bigger the car, the more dangerous it is for pedestrians.
Reporter Heather Graff takes an in-depth look at how vehicle design affects safety and the potential solutions that could protect everyone sharing the road.
Crash tests and the vehicle ratings they help shape are what the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety is perhaps best known for. But another big part of their work here is research.
I mean, look at how tall it is relative to me.
Senior research engineer Becky Mueller says they've studied the evolution of vehicle size and found that over the past 30 years, the average U.S. passenger vehicle has gotten about 4 inches wider, 10 inches longer, 8 inches taller, and 1,000 pounds heavier.
Vehicles are getting bigger.
But researchers don't just look at how bigger trucks and SUVs can protect drivers. They've also looked at the impact those vehicles can have on pedestrians and say that impact can be deadly. IIHS analysis of real-world data from nearly 18,000 crash incidents showed that vehicles with a hood height greater than 40 inches, like a full-size pickup or SUV, are about 45% more likely to cause pedestrian fatalities. And even among vehicles with slightly shorter hood heights, between 30 and 40 inches, such as a mid-size SUV or a sedan, those with blunt, blocky, and more vertical front ends posed an increased risk to pedestrians. In publishing those findings, IIHS researchers wrote, automakers can make vehicles more pedestrian-friendly by designing vehicle front ends that are lower and more sloped.
We do need some sort of regulation to provide a minimum standard for vehicle design to protect pedestrians. We're seeing more ribs, abdomen, vital organs being injured in these crashes because these tall, blunt front ends are directly hitting these pedestrians.
Higher in the body.
Exactly.
And then there's the issue of visibility and the concern that the larger the vehicle, the larger the blind zone.
It just takes a second.
Genesee Bodwin speaks often about her precious daughter Briley.
Happy birthday to you.
Just 2 years old and full of life, when the unthinkable happened in a relative's driveway.
When I walked out the door, unbeknownst to me, the door did not shut all the way.
It was the day after Christmas in 2016, and after spending the holiday with extended family, Genesee was moving her SUV closer to the garage so she could pack it up and head home with her kids.
I started rolling forward.
She didn't realize Briley had followed her outside and never saw her in front of the car.
Felt like I went off a curb. I was like, what in the world was that? And I ran to the back, and there she was between my two back tires.
In the years since Briley's death, Genesee has fought to raise awareness, and she's worked closely with the nonprofit Kids in Car Safety in the push for change.
You can't avoid hitting something you cannot see.
Jeanette Fennell is the founder of that organization.
Are we overdue in having conversations about vehicle size?
Oh, absolutely.
But there have been some recent developments. In August of 2024, Pennsylvania Congresswoman Mary Gay Scanlon introduced what she calls the Pedestrian Protection Act. The legislation, if approved, would require new federal standards when it comes to vehicle hood height, bumper design, and visibility.
I have owned SUVs, I have kids, I have dogs, I have kayaks. So sometimes you do need a bigger vehicle, but if we can make them safer, then I think it's important that we invest that effort.
And separate from her bill, in September of 2024, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration proposed regulations aimed at better protection for people on foot. NHTSA cited data that shows pedestrian fatalities are up 57% in the 10-year period from 2013 to 2022, and said nearly half of pedestrian deaths when hit by the front of a car involved SUVs, trucks, and vans. The agency's proposed rule would establish a new federal motor vehicle safety standard with test procedures that simulate a head-to-hood impact and performance requirements to minimize the risk of pedestrian head injury.
The NHTSA rule is a good first step, but I think it just doesn't go far enough. They could do more, and our bill would have them do more.
The Alliance for Automotive Innovation, a trade group that represents most major automakers, declined to speak on camera, instead saying in a statement that safety is a top priority. And in the 10 years since NHTSA first began considering this plan, vehicles on the road have gotten even more safe as automakers across the board test, develop, and integrate breakthrough safety technologies that we know can help save lives and prevent injuries.
I would say to automakers, you know everything about your vehicles. How about if we make vehicles where you can see pedestrians all the way around?
As for Genesee Bodwin, her take on all of this is a bit more nuanced.
My personal opinion is that it doesn't matter the size of the vehicle. Bigger vehicles are going to be driven. We're not going to get rid of them. What matters is the technology.
But whether it's mandated car safety equipment or new vehicle design standards to protect pedestrians, the IIHS has tracked other countries taking action more quickly.
The solution already exists. The engineering is already done in many cases.
And researchers feel the U.S. is behind. Perhaps one example of these potential solutions that already exist is what's known as an external pedestrian airbag. They're designed to deploy when a collision is detected and essentially cushion the impact between the pedestrian and the hood of a car. Volvo actually developed the first pedestrian airbag more than a decade ago, but it was only available in Europe.